Think about the first thing you grabbed this morning when you woke up. For most of us, it wasn't a person or a glass of water. It was probably our phone. Before we're even fully awake, we're already scrolling. We tell ourselves it's not a big deal, it's just a few minutes. But what if those few minutes, over and over, all day, are quietly costing us something way more important than just time? Today, I want to convince you that the way most of us use social media negatively impacts our mental health, and that with three simple steps, you can take back control. This is something that we're all dealing with. In our class survey, a bunch of you actually said that you wanted to hear about things like social media and self-image, doom scrolling, and cost of living. These were all things that were part of the biggest worries. And social media ties into all these things. It messes with how we feel about ourselves and how we spend our money. So this hits close to home for a lot of people here. I'm not a doctor or anything. I'm just the person who got curious and then kind of worried. So to kind of dig into this, I read the US Surgeon General's report on social media and mental health, plus a couple of real experience experiments from the research journals I found through the Rutgers Library databases. Honestly, what I read changed how I would use my own phone. So today we'll go through three things. First, the problem, how this scrolling hurts our minds and mental health. Second, the causes, why it's so hard to stop. And third, the fix. Three things that you could start doing today. Social media is pretty much everywhere in our lives now. The Pew Research Center found that nearly half of US teens say that they're online constantly, about double what it was 10 years ago today. So around a third say they're on at least one app almost all the time. And for our generation, scrolling isn't just something we do sometimes, it's almost always running in the background. And all that time adds up to real risk. The Surgeon General's report says that teens who spend more than 3 hours a day on social media have double the risk of depression and anxiety symptoms. And the average teen is already on it about 3.5 hours a day. So the average person is already past the point where it begins to become harmful. And this isn't some far off problem that just happens to other people. It's happening to us right here on campus, to your friends, to people that you know. That same report that says social media can make people feel worse about their body is compare themselves to others and have lower self-esteem, which is exactly the social media and self-image part that a lot of you brought up in the biggest worries in the class survey. So now that we see how serious and how personal this is, let's take a look at why it's so hard to put the phone down, and it's not just about willpower. There's three reasons that this happens, and none of them are just you need more self-control. First, these apps are built to keep us scrolling. The American Psychological Association's report explains that things like endless feeds, autoplay, and constant notifications are all designed to keep us on our phones as long as possible. It's not that we're weak, it's just that we're going against companies that spend millions of dollars trying to figure out how to hold our attention span. And second, social media makes us compare ourselves to everyone else, and that wears down on how we see ourselves. Vogel, Rose, Roberts, and Eccles ran studies showing that using social media a lot and comparing yourselves to people who seem better off were linked noticeably to a lower self-esteem. Every perfect looking post that we see on social media is quietly holding us up to a standard that nobody can actually meet. And third, all the screen time pushes out the stuff that actually keeps us healthy. The Surgeon General's report points out that too much use is tied to worse sleep and less real in-person time with people that care about you and people that deserve your time. And good sleep and real friendships are two of the best things that we have for protecting our mental health. If the problem if the problem's this big and the causes are this strong, it's easy to feel like there's nothing you can do. But there is. There are three things that you can start doing today, all backed by research to protect your mental health. First, you can set a daily limit. Hunt, Marks, Lipson, and Young ran an experiment where 143 college students, basically us, cut their social media use down to about 30 minutes a day for 3 weeks. That group ended up way less, quote unquote, lonely and depressed than the people that use their phone like normal. You don't have to completely stop, but it helps a lot to just put a cap to it. Second, taking real breaks and cleaning up your feed helps a lot. When researchers paid about 2,800 people to deactivate Facebook for just 4 weeks, those people said they felt happier and spent more time hanging out with family and friends in person. Even just turning off notifications and unfollowing the accounts that make you feel stressful, things that you don't exactly want to see on your feed, does the same kind of thing. Third, swapping out some of that scrolling for real life connection and getting other people in on it too. The American Psychological Association says that it helps to protect your offline time and learn how these apps work on you. When you trade 30 minutes of that scrolling for a meal, a walk, or just talking to somebody, and when you share what you learned today with a friend and your family, that good effect spreads way past just you. So today, we went through the problem that heavy social media use is hurting young people's mental health, including ours. The three causes: apps that are built to hook us, constant comparison that wears us down, and losing sleep and real connection. And three fixes that actually work: setting a daily limit, taking real breaks, and trading in screen time for real life interactions. So tomorrow morning, when your phone is the first thing that you think about reaching for, stop for just 1 second and remember that you have a lot of choices. You can let that app, you can let your phone decide how you feel before your day even begins, or you can set that limit. Look up and give that time back to the people and the life right in front of you. Your mental health is worth way more than just one more scroll. So make the choice to protect it. All right, done.